So my name is Michael Smith, or many of you know me as Janome Man on the Janome Life blog. And I'm also the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada. So normally I would be down in Oakville at our Janome Sewing and Learning Center, teaching classes there. But again, because of the current situation, I'm luckily safe here at home, so I don't mind that. But I thought in the meanwhile, we can stay in touch for our Janome Sewing and Learning Center. You can write me at classes at janome-canada.com, and I'll put you on the mailing list so that way whenever we get the go-ahead that we can reopen the office and reopen the classrooms, then I'll put you on the mailing list, let you know upcoming classes and all the exciting things we have planned in Oakville. So again, down the road, we can always stay in touch this way through email. But for right now, I'm home in my sewing room. So welcome to my sewing room. I've got my adorable partner, Joe, as my cameraman here. So say hi, Joe. And
Hi.
so Joe is going to read me any questions or concerns that you may have. Again, shout out where you're from and what Janome machines you have. I love sharing the Janome love. Now, because of, again, time limitations, and I always have lots to say, if I'm not able to answer your questions while we're live, then as soon as we go off the air, I'll answer all your questions. So by all means, write comments, questions, and for sure I'll answer them today. So again, thank you for joining me in my sewing room. And today we're going to talk about serger maintenance. With us sewing more than ever now, maybe for some of us, it's great to be able to care and maintain your machines at home so you get the best performance. They last a little longer. And maybe a little bit more time in between service appointments. Although many of our Janome dealers are still open for business, they're maybe closed to the public, but they're still offering services that you can still take into your machine to be serviced by the authorized
Hello from
Janome.
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida. Wow, hello. You're getting gorgeous weather there. So again, you can still take your machine in to be serviced, but what I'm going to teach you here, again, can help in between those service appointments. So I'm working on the Janome AT2000D, but the tips that I'm going to apply here today doesn't have to be this top of the line serger. Although again, why not? Currently Janome Canada is offering drop shipment, so you can call or email your dealer and say, "Hey, I want this fabulous AirThread serger," and Janome Canada will drop ship it to your house, so you can shop in your pajamas. Now, if you go on our website, janome.ca, you'll see the current spring flyer that will be scrolling on the website. So you click on that and you'll see the flyer advertising all the fabulous deals. But you'll also see, I'll stand up and back up a little bit, you'll see this adorable little free truck embroidery design. Now, Liz had just posted this morning on Janome Life. So if you follow our Janome Life blog, then you'll see that she did a post on this adorable little truck that our Parts and Notions coordinator Tanya Denier designed. Our fabulous educator Celine Ross in Montreal digitized it. And our Alan, our marketing and advertising genius, put it on the website and did the flyer. So this is the adorable truck that you can download for free. Again, even if you're not in Canada, you can go to the janome.ca and download this. Any embroidery, any of our embroidery machines that have a USB port, you'll be able to put this on a stick and embroider it in your machine. I did this on the 550E, so then this is the original size, but I increased it and flipped it over. So finally patched up these ripped old jeans. So I thought how perfect to wear them today. So again, that's on janome.ca, lots of information there. There's also a tab up at the top of janome.ca that'll say find a dealer. So then you type in your postal code and your province and it'll find your nearest dealer. So again, some tips on my serger. So first thing I'm going to do is, a couple of you had already messaged me about how to thread your serger a little easier. So I think we need to do future posts on sergers. This week, Erin is coming back Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to do gathering on your serger. And I'm going to be back Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, to do rolled hem on your serger. So we're definitely going to offer more tips and tricks as we go along. But I thought for those people that said, oh, how can I make threading easier? Just cast your eye here at the lower looper, and you'll see there, it's already threaded. And I turn this over here. Now cast your eye over here. This is the upper looper. And there, that's already threaded. So if you want to know, how do I thread my serger more easily? Oh, you purchased this fabulous Janome AT2000D serger. Done. It even has needle threaders. So what more could you ask? So again, I'm kind of teasing, but still a great way. And again, we'll offer you more tips as we go along this week. So first thing, when I want to care for my serger and do the maintenance, I want to turn the power off and or unplug it, you know, safety first. The nice thing about the AT2000D serger, as soon as I open my covers, the power is not going to work. I can put my foot on the foot pedal and it won't work at all. So it's a nice built-in safety feature. If you need your light on in order to see what you're doing in here, because you're going to be cleaning all these little parts and pieces, I suggest you take your foot pedal from the floor, put it up on your workstation, but away from you. So that way you're not actually gonna trip on it. The cat's not gonna lay on it. Do any of you have little fur babies at home in your sewing room? Joe and I have a cat. So then, you know, Kitty loves to be where I'm at. So if I'm cleaning my serger, I would take the foot pedal off the floor, put it up on your table, but again, away from you. So that way you're not gonna drop any tools on it or anything. For me, I'm just going to shut mine off. Again, I've got this overhead lighting, so that helps. So then I'm going to clip my threads just above the thread guide here, and I'm going to clip it at the needle. Now for threads, a good tip, how to maintain your serger and make it run better using good quality serger thread. So I'm using our Madeira Aero Lock thread. We also have the Madeira Aero Flock, which is like woolly nylon, but it's polyester. So it's actually, I prefer it much better, performs better. Now I'm going to go in more specifically about the details of this thread on Friday when I come back to do the rolled hem. So hopefully you'll join me then. But again, good quality serger thread will definitely help as far as the care and maintenance, cleaning of your machine. I find the Aerolock, Madeira Aerolock thread is much lower lint than regular serger thread. When you see that bin of 3 for 99 cents at your store, just keep walking. Cheap thread is really a false economy. So you definitely want good quality serger thread. Your machine will love you for it. So after I get my thread clipped, then I'm going to come down here to the needle and I'm going to pull my thread through I'm going to pull it through the tensions. I don't want to come up here and pull from the top. Now this would be true for your domestic machine as well. You don't want to pull it up through the tensions. You want to pull it down so that way any lint and debris, any dust is going to go through the machines and through the tension. I think of it as flossing your machine. And I learned that from Nancy Zeman years ago. Do you all remember Nancy from Sewing with Nancy? I watched her show religiously. I've been sewing for, I figured it out last night, 32 years. And I started watching Nancy right away. So she had lots of great tips. So you want to floss your machine. And think of Nancy while you're doing it. She did a lot for our industry, so she was great. So once I get the thread out of my guides, then I take a business card, plain old simple business card, and I just go in here under the guide to see if there's any thread, any lint in there that I can help dislodge it. Or, again, most of our sergers come with tweezers, I believe they all do. And even though they have a point, but they're blunt, so I can go in and get under here and get out any lint, and I don't have to worry about scratching the metal of this guide. I don't want to use any pins or seam ripper that might scratch it and cause a groove, in which case the thread may catch on it and cause some trouble. So that's why I like the bluntness of these tweezers, or again the business card, just to slide under there. So then I come down to my tension discs. Now, these are lay-in tensions. Some sergers have the knobs on the front, but you could still use this technique that I'm going to show you. Now, your tension discs need to be open. So the analogy I think of is currently right now with, COVID-19, things are closed down. So in order to close my discs, my foot has to be down. So they are closed and the foot is down. So when I go to thread my serger and when I go to clean the disc, I need everything to open up, which is going to happen. Once we get the go-ahead, when this virus situation is under control, things are going to open up again. So to open my tension discs, I need to raise up my foot. So open up is what we want. Then I'm going to take one of my secret weapons to cleaning anything, old t-shirts. I love it. These are after, I always make t-shirt quilts with old t-shirts. And in fact, I've written a couple of blogs on Janome Life. So if you go to your browser and type in Janome Life, then up will come the main page. And there's a search box off to the right. So you could type in air thread serger, t-shirt quilt. I bound it with the quilt binder attachment. So type in quilt binder attachment and up all the posts related to that subject will be there. So after I make my t-shirt quilt, I cut up, these are the sleeves left over, and I cut off the hem and I cut off the seam. And then I lay it in my tension guide and I take my business card and I swipe it through to help me get any, again, kind of lint or dust or debris in there. Especially if you're serger phobic. Are any of you serger phobic? A little afraid of your serger. Maybe you haven't used it in many years. So potentially it could be kind of dusty. So this is why I like taking this t-shirt rag and drawing it through like that. I think of it like charging of your credit card. You could call up your dealer and say, yes, I'll take that air thread serger and charge it. So slide it through. You got to have fun while you're doing this kind of stuff. So that'll get the disc nice and clean. And afterward, if this is all dusty and dirty, just throw it away, or you could even wash it and reuse it. What I like using the t-shirt, because it's been washed so many times, it's very low lint. I don't want to use paper towels doing this, for example. That would be too linty. So that's why I like these. Always have them around. So when I get down here, this is the air thread portion of the serger. So I'm actually going to skip over that because I realize a lot of you don't have the air thread serger at home. And again, I can talk at another opportunity about how to clean this. If I'm really good on time, I'll show you, but I'm also going to show you where that is in the manual. So for the rest of us, though, this looks like pretty much every other serger. I've got my, whoops, I'll unlock that. This is the post of my upper looper, is right here. And then over here, this is my lower looper, right there. And then I've got my, whoops, I want to turn this up. This is my lower knife in here. And this is my upper knife. Now, in order to clean it, I want to retract that knife. However, your machine is going to do that. This one is very simple, easy here. So I want to retract the upper knife. And if you can zoom in really close, Joe, can you all see here? This is the stitch finger. So when we're doing normal serging, it's going to be on S. Now, if I do a rolled hem, for example, which I'm going to do on Friday, I'm going to click that, and that takes away that stitch finger. So again, this is normal standard serging, but when you come to clean your serger, you're going to want to retract that stitch finger, get it out of the way. I click it over to the R for rolled hem. And that way, when I go to clean in and my feed dogs, I don't have to worry about doing anything. Pardon? No, you're good? Okay. Joe's giving me jazz hands. So when I go to now remove my foot, very simple, like most Janome machines, it just clicks off at the back. And again, I'll take my t-shirt rag and get in there, all the little nooks and crannies. Now, for simplicity's sake, I have taken the screw out of the needle plate here just to speed up some time. But again, the machines will all have a little screwdriver in order to do that. So I'm going to lift out my needle plate and I need to remove my needle. Now, how many times have you taken your little screwdriver and tried to remove the needle on your domestic machine or on your serger, and you go to unscrew it, you've got a hold of the needle, but all of a sudden it just slips right through your fingers and drops down below. That's happened to me. I can't tell you the number of times. So I'm going to do what I always tell everyone to do. I'm actually going to listen to my own advice and go look for the accessories that came with your machine, and maybe there's something there included that will help you out. This, for example, is a little needle holder. It's a dual purpose tool. I'm going to show you on Friday actually what this edge does, but it's a dual purpose tool to help hold my needle in place. So then when I'm ready to insert my needle, I can undo the screw and it holds it in place, makes it very easy. And again, we could use this on the domestic machines as well, because Janome offers in a separate blister pack. It's this part of the tool that holds the needle, and the other part of the tool has like a little wire that comes through that'll help you thread the needle. Now, I don't need the threading portion of it here on the AT2000D Serger because it's got needle threaders included. But again, in a separate blister pack, you'd have a needle threader that'll help you thread your domestic machine, or your cover hem machine includes one actually. So for this, I'm going to actually now use this tool to remove my needle. Normally I would never use this, and I thought, why am I not using this? Like, it makes so much sense. So I'm going to remove this little screw, and, well, I don't want to remove it entirely. I just want to take it out enough that I can get my needle out of there. Now, if my needle is still in good shape, I'm going to leave it in here, set this on my table, and that way I can always find my needle when I go back to assemble my serger. Or now if I can really examine, oh, maybe it's bent and it's worn, then I can dispose of it safely. So it's another cool reason to use that, so you know where your needle is. I'm going to go back in here. This is a big tip to share with you. I'm going to tighten that screw again, because I have had where these have come out accidentally, and then you're searching and finding in there. So as soon as I remove a needle, I'm going to tighten that screw back up there so I don't have to worry about it. So now I'm ready to get in here and clean my feed dogs. Now, all sergers come with a brush, but you can never have too many. So I like this brush here. It's nylon, but it is firm, but it's flexible. So I can get in and around.
Apparently the video's not coming through well.
Oh, is it too bright?
No. Okay, you're moving so much it focuses in and out.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll just slow my hands down. Okay, sorry. Again, this is all new to Joe and I, so we're trying. So I'm going to get in all the little nooks and crannies with this brush, and then I don't have to worry about it, again, scratching any of the metal. I don't want to use any wire brush or anything that, again, is going to groove the metal. So these are available. Chances are your Janome dealer has these. They're not very expensive at all. This I've probably had about 20 years, so they're very good. Now, many people like to use these either makeup brushes or the artist brush, but just be careful of quality, because these bristles can come out if you're wiping around some of these metal parts in the grooves. Then some of the bristles can come out while you're doing it, especially the really inexpensive kinds. So then you would take your tweezers and go in there to pull out the bristles. So they're good to use. Again, just try to get a slightly higher quality ones, I guess. So then you don't have to worry again about the bristles coming out in your machine. So after I remove the major parts of lint, I'm gonna, reach in here to grab my canned air. Now, I'm going to use this sparingly, and I'm only going to use it, again, I'm talking about a serger. So I'm not talking about regular domestic sewing machines. I would never want to use canned air for that. I wrote a blog post a couple weeks ago that's on Janome Life about how to maintain your bobbin area. So then you would follow those tips there, not using canned air. So here I can open my side cover because this is all open. And when I blast my canned air, then it blasts right through, and then so you blast all over the place. So, but that's a good thing. Then that's the only circumstance where I want to use canned air is where I can flow freely. Now, again, I'm going to use this sparingly, and after I use it, I'm going to wipe everything down because one of the concerns with canned air is the propellants that cause it to work can create some moisture. So that's why I want to use the canned air very sparingly. I don't want a lot of moisture in here. And again, I'm going to take my t-shirt rag and wipe it all down anyway afterward. So it's going to be fine. Now, when it comes to the face of your machine too, I'm going to use my t-shirt rag. If you need to, you slightly dampen the cloth with some warm water. I don't want to use any kind of solvents on the body of your machine, that no chemicals or anything. So then, after we get it all clean, we're going to oil. Now I know my machine takes oil because included in it is this little vial of oil. And where I oil my machine, before I do any of my maintenance actually, I'm going to consult my instruction manual. This is a great resource, and I know a lot of people don't like to read their manuals. Me personally, when I get a new machine, I can't wait to sit down with the manual and I go through, what does this do? What does this do? What is that? But again, that's me. So in your manual, you're going to find at the back of every Janome machine, it's going to say care of machine. Now here, if you can see, like it shows you about cleaning around your knife, and there it's about removing the needle plate. Now here on page 53, for those of you with the air thread serger, it shows you how to clean your air threading loopers. So very simply and easily. And then it's going to show you oil the machine. So if the machine requires oil, it's going to tell you in your manual where to do that. When in doubt as well, you could always call your Janome dealer, talk to your authorized Janome service technician, and ask them for their advice too. They would love to hear from you to make sure that you're maintaining your machine properly. So in this little diagram, it's going to show you exactly where to oil. In general, we want to do where it's metal on metal. So I like using the type of oil. This is good quality sewing machine oil. That's another point, is good quality sewing machine oil.
Use your hand so they can see it.
Oh, well, I don't want to show the brand name because it's not a Janome brand. But you can check with your Janome dealer and you can see maybe they have this or something similar. I like it just because of this big long gooseneck. But you want to use good quality sewing machine oil. You don't want to use motor oil or vegetable oil or even your expensive Italian oil, olive oil from Italy. Just good quality sewing machine oil. So where I want to oil in particular, now again, consult your manual and your machine specifically, but where I want, maybe it'll be easier to show you actually with the oil. I've already oiled my Serger, so I don't want to oil it again, but where I want to oil it, can you see this piston here of the upper looper and then through this metal block here of where it's holding it into position? I want to do a drop of oil there. And I guess I will just show you, because when I mean a drop, I mean a drop. Like a drop of oil. And then I would work it through, rotate the flywheel manually to work that oil through. Now, another place is down here where you'll see this. Can you see that piston move? So then I want to put a little drop of oil right there. Now, this one may be a little trickier to see. Way in the back here is where my lower looper, so way down there, you'll see this is where my lower looper is swinging back and forth. I want to do a little drop of oil there. Now, how frequently you're going to oil your machine, it says in the manual about, again, 8 to 10 hours, but it really depends on how often you use your machine and, you know, of what you're serging. If you're sewing a lot of really bulky, thick fabrics with a lot of lint, like cotton flannel, for example, you're definitely going to want to blow it out and brush it out more than if you were sewing on a knit, for example. A polyester knit wouldn't create a lot.
Gilmer wants to know if she has to worry about oil transfer to fabric.
Oh, then I would. That's a good point to bring up, that after you're all done, so after I get it all oiled, and again, I'm going to rotate it a couple of times with the flywheel to work the oil through. Then when I put my covers back on, I put my needle plate back on, I put my needle back in, you thread up your machine. Then I would take your scraps. Again, it could even be your scrap of knit that you have, and you want to do a couple of test surges. So then any excess oil will be on your test fabric. And once then that clears, and again, that's why too, you only want to use a little drop of oil. You don't want a whole buildup of oil there. But by running through the scrap, then you know it'll be fine.
Mention if they tuned in late, that it's going to be in your Instagram story for the next 24 hours.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, because that's sort of winding up my portion here, and I know we're always focused on time. But yes, if you tuned in late to view today, that I will post this as soon as we go off live. I'll post this to Janome Canada's story for Instagram, so you'll be able to catch it for the next 24 hours. And this is also going to be posted to Janome Life's YouTube channel. So Erin will do some edits there, and then that'll be available in the next couple of days. And again, Erin's coming back Wednesday at 1 p.m. to do Gathering on the Serger. And I'll be coming back Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern to do Rolled Hem on the Serger. So I think that is it. Oh, and I just wanted to mention one more shout out, because I've been mentioning Janome dealers, and you can order various products and such. You know, a lot of the dealers are still open for business. You can call or email them. Maybe they're not in the store every day, so patience is always, you know, appreciated, but they're still out there, you know, willing and able to do what they can to help you.
One more question. How many total oil points?
It really depends on your serger itself. On this one, there's several all and around here that I wasn't going to bore you with by doing all of them. It says in, so again, depending on your manual, I think in here there's maybe about 10. Oh, that's Tracy. Lovely. So, yeah, again, I think arbitrarily there's maybe about 10 or so, but it will say in your manual where to do so. And again, if in doubt, call up your Janome dealer and say, hey, this is my model of serger, and I can't find my manual. Can you help me? Again, go to our janome.ca site to get manuals. But then even they could give you some tips over the phone. And yes, they're willing to, some have the curbside pickup, some are even doing deliveries depending on where you live. You know, some are doing Zoom and Skype, so even you could Zoom with them and say, hey, this is my machine, can you show me where to oil? You know, you never know. There's certainly no harm in asking. But yes, they're out there to serve you. You know, we at Janome, we're here for you. So let us know other upcoming Instagram lives that you'd like us to do. So I think that's it for now. Yes, thank you. Joe's given me the roll up. So I will hopefully see you all again Friday. And again, I'll check back with you all soon. Thank you. Bye.